about housing, right? Is it possible to manage the growth within housing? What's being worked on, what's being discussed, or what plans do you have to continue growing, I don't want to say affordable housing, but housing affordability, right? You want to be able to have houses that the people who are going to work the jobs that are being created. So I'm sure you want them to live in Kalama. When you bring the new company into the port, you want the CEO to live in Kalama. So talk to me about housing and how you see that being able to keep up with the growth of industry and growth of businesses that you all are seeing in the city. If we can start this one with Mike.
Okay. As you know, Kalama definitely has some land challenges, to say the least, which will always cause a lot more expensive when it comes to housing, no matter how we build due to infrastructure constraints, because what we've seen when it comes to the school is they pretty much had to blast in order to put gas pipelines in. They have to blast when they put any kind of housing development in, which everything like that, when it comes to excavating or land, when it comes to those kind of things, it takes a lot of money. And, one of the things they always tell you about, they always ask, well, how come housing prices are going up so much? And I always tell them it's really easy when you have a great community, when you have a community that everybody wants to live, it's going to cause housing to go up. I'm guarantee there's places around the country that you can get a great deal on a house, but when you have a community that is forward thinking and everything's going great and everybody's a sense of community, it's going to cause definitely a housing shortage. So we do have, the other thing is we're backed up. We got the port. That's part of the problems. The port owns, the north side of Kalama pretty much. We have the river to the west and the mountains to the east. So I hate to say it, we're kind of in a cul-de-sac. We're kind of up against the mountains, and so we're going to have to be very smart in how we put housing in due to those constraints. We do have two housing developments that are going through different permitting right now that are going to be kind of a variety of different types of living, multi-use house, resident houses, condos, and but it's always difficult because then you have a situation where does it fit in with the existing community? There are communities kind of the aesthetics of a community can make or break new housing. So we kind of are, we don't want to say picky, but we also are very aware of how each thing will fit in with the existing city there. So that's the challenges of, and then the port. I've heard of port. Now this is maybe a future thing that they're going to maybe get into housing too, because they do see the challenges that we're going through. So that might be something around the Spencer Creek business area that they might proceed forward and try to put a development in down there.
Okay. Right, Sandra.
Okay, the two developments that Mayor Reuter's talking about happen to literally be in my backyard. I get to feel every one of the blasts that go off. And I understand one of them is to have lofts or smaller housing. And I believe my understanding, and in case you hear a blast, it's coming from that's supposed to have smaller multi-generational housing. So they're in the works. Hopefully they'll get done this year, some of them. I'll be glad when the blasting stops. But it just appears to me from looking at what's going on, and I get asked almost daily, when are they going to be done? How big are they going to be? My son wants to find a place to live. It's really hard to get it built and at a recent price. When we moved here, the smallest house was 1,500 square feet and it sold for $199. That's kind of not what it is now, but everything else has moved up too. So I'm not sure how we're going to do it unless we can get some condos or townhouses, or some of these lofts may be the answer. But the city does work with the developers and share with them what the needs are and what's going to sell. I know I've watched Stone Forest go from 0 up and fill up very quickly. And I'm watching houses go up and just get snatched up. But we've got to do something for the lower income or starter homes or smaller multi-generational home. And my understanding is that's what's supposed to be going up in these developments. So keep our fingers.
Scott.
I think what both Mayor Reuter and Sandra said are pretty right on. We are limited, and there are a couple pretty large developments going in out off of Stone Forest, like Sandra said. There's one pretty large one that's slated to go in eventually sometime above me. That's off of China Garden. It's in the city limits, but they're going to be a little bit larger parcels. I think minimum of ½ acre. Some of them might be a little bigger, a little bit of a more of a country feel. But I think, there's some other properties kind of in the central portion of the town, like below me. I live at the top of Taylor Road, that I think over time will get developed. Probably a little bit easier ground to work on. But there may be some issues and reasons why they aren't developing that land. There's some larger chunks within the city limits that are landlocked due to or can't be developed because of flag lot issues. And that's something that, I know the council has probably looked at, planning's looked at, but maybe it's time to readdress those to see if some of that property, like I said, below me, can be utilized better for more housing.
Okay, and John.
All right. Sorry, I was going to chuckle in when you first asked this question because it is actually on the agenda for our next council meeting.
Excellent.
Yeah, just a couple things. One, I just want to say my own personal experience of building a 100-year-old home and then completely gutting it. One thing I think we do have going well in Kalama is our permitting department. That you hear nightmare stories about other jurisdictions. It has been a breeze to work with and I think that is a factor in drawing in developers. I think, we've talked about subdivisions, and I think there's a way in which we can incorporate, like Astoria, more medium density house zoning in a way that will still preserve the small town nature of the town, but allow for that more. The thing that's on the agenda on this next meeting, which I am really excited about, it's something I've been working on for a while now, is I am proposing that the council because process matters, and so just instead of us passing them, I'm going to ask us to send it to Planning Commission so they can get their say in. But I think it's absolutely time that we remove the prohibition on accessory dwelling units. Currently in Kalama Municipal Code, you cannot build attached or detached ADUs. And I think we have plenty of lots in our town that would absolutely benefit. And that, when you talk to citizens, they have a friend, an adult child who just, would love a place, who can't possibly afford a new house in Stone Forest. That I think and I'm working from the Cowlitz County code that they did, but I mean, there's wonderful code from all over this state, that we can get this jump started in order to, in a real, actual, practical way, alleviate some housing strain and in the process, put more money in our residents' pockets, right, as they're able to rent out ADUs. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity that will fit with what our community is all about, and provide an opportunity for additional housing. And also, just on a side note, I think too, one of the things that I've been a part of as the liaison of the police department, that as we think about housing and we think about the, because it's all about quality of life and community, something I've been proud to be a part of and seeing is the growth of neighborhood watch groups, right? And so giving neighborhoods as they grow, and I'm excited, I can only imagine as these new developments begin to build out, that we can kind of get these groups stood up, at the start, right? And giving an extra sense of community. I know I've attended every neighborhood watch meeting that there's been in the last 2 years, and I think it's just a wonderful community opportunity that again adds another layer to the quality of life here in Kalama. So anyway, so yeah, just chuckling at the looking forward to the October 6th meeting and moving forward on the ADUs. But yeah.
Yes, Mike.
I just want to add, I really appreciate that Mr. Stanfill, and I think Macias brought up a couple of good things about Adam, our city manager. And I didn't even think of this, is when you talk to other communities and how difficult it is getting any kind of building permits, especially during this pandemic, that Adam, being a builder, an ex-builder, he could talk the talk, he could kind of work through these projects, and he really facilitates these builders and developers to get them through the process as fast and as seamless as possible. And Mr. Moon was talking about the other housing development. I forgot about that. That was a big one up there that we just got the okay a couple of months ago. So, and then the last thing is John brought up the ADUs. I forgot all about those things. So that was a very, that would be a great way to help the children, the kids and the elderly and other people in the community. So I just want to tell you about Adam mostly because he really helps these builders get to get in as fast as possible. Thank you.
So it sounds like you're going to support John's proposal.
I would definitely do that. There's no doubt.
Sandra, do you?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And Scott, if you were elected, would you support what do you think about, since that was really, I don't want to say the only new idea, but since that was a new idea that's being proposed, I'm just curious what everyone's opinion or thought on that is. So
I think
obviously
it's a great idea.
Okay.
I do. I think it's good. I think the community will welcome that.